You tapping in real quick. Something light, nothing major. Caution tape is being placed. Proceed with caution or proceed however you so choose to do so. You understand what I'm saying to you? I'm just doing my due diligence. I wouldn't feel right if I didn't. This whole entire fight card coming this Saturday, with the exception of a few fights, like 2 or 3 fights, almost from bottom to top, is prospect versus prospect. So anybody sitting anywhere telling you how overly confident they are in one side or the other, miss me with that shit. Just miss me with that shit, as we have not seen, and there has not been a big enough body of work produced yet. Matter of fact, scratch that. There hasn't been any body of work produced yet up against a legitimate level of opposition for us to be arguing these motherfuckers' credentials or statistics, in my personal opinion, as of yet. You understand what I'm saying to you, man? And I say that with all due respect to individuals like Razoo and Yizza, who are prospects in their own right over here. But in my personal opinion, over there, the level of opposition is completely different. It's just not the same. So, with all due respect, they still need to be tested up against a legitimate level of opposition from over here. You know, for me to get invested in any way, shape, form, or fashion into them, or what their ceilings may or may not be inside the UFC. This is very much full of prospect, fighting prospect. Do not get overly invested into this card. Put you a little unit, know what I mean? A little unit and a half to the side to fuck with this card, man. As we have some cards coming that are gonna be ridiculous for parlays and bets, because they're not full of fucking prospects. You understand what I'm saying to you? Too many question marks. First fight of the night. These are things I don't like in my main bets and parlays. The first fight of the night, the last fight of the night, any individual making their UFC debut, any individual who's minus 500 or above, heavyweight MMA, women's MMA, or any fight that I got too many question marks on from one side, let alone both sides. Those all check boxes in the complete pass section. You understand what I'm saying to you, man? Most of this fucking card is like that, man. You know what I mean? Most of this card is like that. Ramaska versus Fletcher. Proceed with caution, man. This is prospect versus prospect making their UFC debuts against each other. So while one might be a bit more reckless in his approach, Ramaska, and the other might be a bit more of a technical practitioner in Fletcher, that might not necessarily be the case come fight night, making their UFC debuts, taking that walk for the first time, the weight cut, the emotions, and just the mixture of everything that comes with making that UFC debut. You understand what I'm saying to you? So tread lightly on that fight, man. St. Preux versus Spain, it's OGs, man. OGs, these veterans. You know what I'm talking about? Rangzhou versus Padilla, very much so. Prospect versus prospect. Caution tape is placed, but I am siding with Padilla to get it done inside the distance and make Rangzhou 25-6 with 5 submission losses on his record. He's 25-5 right now with 4 submission losses. It could be a decision loss, but either way, it's a loss to Padilla. Proceed with caution on Gabriel versus Yizza. Proceed with caution, man. Proceed with caution on Andre versus Dylan. This is a wrestler with an overhand versus a wrestler with an overhand. Prospect versus prospect in the same, but still wrestler with an overhand versus wrestler with an overhand. One wrestler with an overhand is a bit more dangerous in the jiu-jitsu department, though. And that's what separates them, in my personal opinion. Isaac versus Brendan, man. Come on, man. The level of opposition that they have faced has not been great. And when he took the slightest bit of step up to Christian Rodriguez, you know, that didn't work out well for him. Ceilings aren't high for these guys, man. Nobody should be highly confident. And minus 1,800 next to that motherfucker is absolutely ridiculous, because what justifies that? And coming off a loss to a prospect killer who just lost in his own right when he took a step up. So that shows you the level of opposition he is, where his ceiling is. So that shows you where Isaac's ceiling is. Come on, man. Proceed with caution. I guess you should proceed with caution when it comes to Jacqueline and Vanessa. because Jacqueline is a sizable favorite and Vanessa's a sizable dog, and Vanessa's gonna bark and win. Trust me when I tell you, she will bark on this card as a sizable dog, as she did for me when she took out Emily Ducati as a sizable dog on the prelim card, man. So proceed with caution. Lima versus Santos, proceed with caution, man. I'm with Lima, but proceed with caution. Garcia versus Nelson, you know, I'm a little bit more confident in Garcia, but proceed with caution because Nelson's fucked up the bag before. You know what I'm talking about? Out of nowhere on some nutball shit. Proceed with caution. Peak versus Yanal. These are two motherfuckers that are used to getting their way. Knocking a motherfucker out as far as Peak's concerned. Knocking a motherfucker out or choking a motherfucker out as far as Yanal's concerned. You understand what I'm saying to you? Two cannons in there. One's a bit more technical than the other. The other one's just reckless all over. Proceed with caution, man. I think Costa, I think that's a pretty solid pick. Schnell's the only one that needs to proceed with caution as far as I'm concerned there. Silva, solid pick. And, you know, Brady versus Burns, it's the main event. So we're going to place caution tape there. But I do feel like, unfortunately for Burns and for me, I'm high on both these guys. I just followed Burns' whole entire career. So I've followed it for much longer than that of Brady. You know what I'm saying? But Sean, you know, he's out here in the tri-state in Delmarva. You know, he fuck with individuals that I fuck with. You know what I'm talking about? So, you know, him winning this one, it don't upset me at all in any way, shape, form, or fashion. You know what I'm talking about? Salute to him, feathering his cap for doing so. Another big name. You know what I'm talking about? He just took out Calvin Gastelum, and I think he does the same to Gilbert Burns. As I believe Gilbert Burns' best days are behind him. He's no longer living in them. They are behind him. Maybe not as far as being a human being. He may very well be living in his best days, but I feel like his best days as a combat sports performer, his performance in combat sports, those days are behind him, where Brady's days are still in front of him. We haven't seen his best days, and we may very well see the best performance of him as of yet come this Saturday, man. So, you know, I think we're good to go for Silva and Costa and Garcia. I think we're good to go on Brady and Vanessa. Proceed with caution on all of the fights that I tell you that we're good on as well. You know what I'm talking about? Proceed however you feel, you know, the need to do so, man. These are just the ones I'm putting caution on, and then there's the ones that I'm confident on and don't feel like I need to proceed with caution on. But do not let me or anybody else sway you away from your gut. Trust me when I tell you, it'll hurt you in the long run more times than it'll help you. You know what I mean? If you have question marks on a fight, when you look at a fight, when you look at a matchup, and you just got, like, if you could run down this motherfucking card and be like, man, listen, I got Natalia Silva, Alessandro Costa, you know what I'm talking about? Fuck it, I got Sean Brady over Burns right now, but then it's like, that's when you got to stop. That's your foundation that you comfortable with, that you're highly confident in, that you did your homework and your gut told you yes. That's your fucking foundation. Regardless of what I say, that's your fucking foundation. You want to come over here and fuck, you know what I mean, take mine and do your 1-2 with that too, but keep your own. And rock with yours as well. You know what I'm talking about? Because yours will help you out more times than it won't. And swaying away from yours will hurt you more times than it won't. Trust me when I tell you, man. You understand what I'm saying to you? So if you have question marks on a fight and you tap in here, you know what I mean, to get a little bit more insight or get a little bit more, you know, chop it up a little bit more, get a little bit more conversation going about that fight, a little bit more talking going on about that fight, man. You know what I mean? And you find yourself getting swayed away from your gut, you feel what I'm saying to you? Be sure to secure your back door. Don't ever just sway away from your gut and disregard it. You know what I mean? Because as I said, it'll hurt you in this game more times than it'll help you. That's all I got for y'all, man. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. I'm tapping the fuck out. I'll catch y'all sometime tomorrow.